The first thing I wanted to share today was just to share a little bit of the story and the whys behind why I personally chose to build apps without code in the first place, why I started this whole thing, and why I started first for my own companies building apps without code, and why I share it with other people. So there's three main reasons why I chose with my very first company to build the app without code. And if you don't know a lot about my first company, in our first year, we did $150,000 in revenue. We raised $300,000 from investors. We got into a top accelerator program, 500 startups, and did all of this without writing a single line of code, and built a tech startup without any code. So I wanted to share why I did that, why I chose to take this non-traditional route in building my app, and why it might work for you. So the first reason I personally chose to build my app without code was cost. If you go to a developer, and I had some of these conversations early on with developers about my app, they were telling me it's going to be $10,000, $20,000, $50,000. That's generally how much it costs to have someone build your app for you. And for me, I just didn't have that kind of money. It was not an option for me to throw that kind of money down at an app that I wasn't even sure was going to work yet. And so cost was a huge reason why I decided to build my app without code. It allowed me to be the main person building the app, because at the time I had a very small team. It was mainly just me. And it allowed me to cut down costs significantly. So cost was one of the main reasons. The second reason I decided to build my app without code was because I wanted to avoid something that's called technical debt. Now, my background is in technology. I actually used to work as a marketer for technology companies. I worked at Google, Foursquare, and Microsoft, but as a marketer, I don't know anything or didn't know anything about writing code. And so technical debt was a huge reason for me why I decided to build my app this way. You are going to have to, if you have somebody else build your app and you do it with code and do it in a fancy way to begin with, there's all of these things that you're going to have to keep doing, keep maintaining. And the fact that it wasn't going to be me who could keep maintaining and keep fixing all those things, they call that technical debt. You just kind of accumulate debt as you're creating something. And when you're trying to build an app fast and you're doing it the traditional way with code, you very frequently build up a lot of technical debt when it comes to money, but when it comes to the complication of the actual product you build. So I wanted to avoid all of that. I just didn't have time to keep spending money, to keep giving people money every time I got feedback on the app or wanted to change something. I didn't want to have to pay out money to do that. And I didn't want to have this complex app that had all of these features and things that I wasn't even sure people needed or wanted, or all this complex code. So I liked the idea of building an app without code because I got to avoid the technical debt that comes with it. And finally, and this was a huge one for me, I had absolutely no idea how to effectively manage developers. I would have conversations with these guys. They were kind of speaking a different language than me, and I was having a hard time exactly translating the exact vision for the app that I wanted to create. They were having a hard time fully understanding. And sometimes we would think that we would fully understand each other. And then they would show me something that would be totally not what I meant. And, the back and forth, I had no idea if, the developers were doing a good job or a bad job until it was way too late. And I really wanted to avoid that. And so managing developers and avoiding that cost and avoiding that, and technical debt, avoiding that. Those were the three main reasons I personally chose to build my app without code. It ended up really working for me as a solution. I wanted to share a little bit about why I chose to build my app this way. In the first place, send you a quick video message if you can relate to any of this, and you're really going to love the stuff Okay, cool. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.